This podcast is brought to you by Independent Building Advice. IBA acknowledges traditional owners of the land and waters this podcast is recorded on. If you find this episode helpful, follow us for more so we can continue putting out free value for all homeowners in Australia. It really goes a long way. Enjoy the episode.
Hi there, and welcome back to the Home Building Podcast. We are all about helping people design homes, build homes, extend homes, renovate, give you as many tips as we possibly can to make sure you have the best outcome for your build. And today we're talking about a topic that I'm pretty passionate about. I have kids, but a lot of our clients don't have kids, or their kids are moving out and they're looking at their property. It's a big property to maintain, big property to look after, and it's a pain in the neck. And you know what? They're at a point in their life where they don't want that. Or maybe on your plans is no kids on the horizon, or you're thinking the kids isn't for you, or you're a single person and you don't want to go down that path. Maybe you fly in, fly out, whichever. If that is you, this podcast is for you, because we're going to talk about tips and ideas to think about when designing your home to make sure that you're getting the right home to suit your lifestyle. Right. And really a big part of that is lifestyle by design. That's something that I'm passionate about. Tell us about your lifestyle. Let's make the home work for you. So let's talk about some really important things to make that work for you. And one of them is a mistake that we've found a lot of people make. They have these big properties. This is for downsizers. They have these big properties. They have these clients that, they have the kids living with them the whole life, and it's great. And the kids move out and the house is big and empty and hard to look after. And they got all this gardening to do and this lawn they had where the kids used to play in, or a swimming pool, and it's just too hard. And they go from these massive properties, sometimes at acres, and they go, right, we're going to downsize. And they get another property, and it's a small, narrow property, maybe 12.5 meters wide, 30 deep. And next thing is they're looking out their window and they're seeing a fence. And they go, oh my God, this is so small. I can hear the neighbours arguing next door. And what they've done, they've overcorrected. They've gone from this big home to a really small home. And generally after 12 months, they go, nah, don't like it. And they sell because they're feeling claustrophobic. They feel like their neighbours are there. You want to still have space. You want to make sure that you've got a good size block. Don't overdo it. Go for a nice size block for you. Have a bit of space on the sides. Make sure that you're not going too crazy when you're going too small, but you don't want to go for basically smaller rooms. You want to go for less rooms and make sure the rooms that you use all the time is actually a good size. In fact, you may want to go bigger than your current home and get the rooms and space that you want. Have a big kitchen. In fact, the money that you save building from having the extra rooms that you don't need anymore, spend that on the rooms that you do use. Have a feature raking ceiling, skillion roofs, big spacious rooms. So when you go in it, you feel that you're at home, that you love where you live, you love that space because that's the space you use. Don't shrink everything, okay? And so get what you want. Have a good kitchen meals family, and make sure that when you have family over, you're still going to entertain, you're still going to have dinner parties. Make sure that you've got the room that you want because you deserve it. Okay, so that's really important from that perspective. The other thing as well is focus on the rooms that you need. So often what people do is they really struggle with changing their mindset with downsizing. So, well, in the new home, okay, I need 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. I need a powder room, and you know what? I actually need a study because I do work. And then you know what? We might have Uncle Bob might stay over for a couple of weeks, so we need a room for him as well. And all of a sudden, you got all these rooms you want there. I need a hobby room as well because I love doing puzzles or whatever you might be into, stamp collections. So basically, what you want to do is you really want to make sure that the rooms that you have are right for you. But you've got to think of it in a different lens, is that you may have, someone stay with you for a couple of weeks, but that room's going to sit vacant for the rest of the year. So you might have 50 weeks a year where that room's doing nothing if you just have it dedicated to someone staying over. So try to think of all your rooms as dual rooms. So for example, this could be my hobby room, and I've set it up here, but there's a bed that I can put away, and I can bring that bed out when I've got a friend staying over, or I can have a pull-out couch. But most of the time, that's going to be my hobby room. It's going to be set up for that. Or I have my third bedroom is going to be my study area, and that's going to be where I'm going to do my study. Or you might have a cupboard that you can open up and do your study work because it's mainly you and your partner, and then you can put it away when you're not using it. So it's really challenge yourself on, do I really need that room, or could I use that for another purpose? And whatever that room does is, for the majority of the year, is what you should design it for, right? Make sure that room's doing its job for you, okay? The other thing with that as well, while I think about it, is don't don't skimp on storage space. Although, if you're like me and you move from house to house to house when you build or renovate or something like that, that you still take all the storage stuff with you everywhere you go, you're still going to need the storage space. In fact, I find from a lot of people who, if they're downsizing or they're retiring or whatever, you've probably got more toys or as many toys as people with a full-on family, because you've got probably more freedom and flexibility. You want to have a room to put that stuff. So make sure that you've got plenty of storage in your home when you're downsizing or when you're building for yourself, because you're going to need it. I don't think anyone in the history of time has ever said that the house has too much storage. And I can assure you that even though you might not have kids and that at home, you're still going to want it. So think about storage, think about having good sized rooms for what you want. But also, if you've got these rooms and you've got dual need for them and you've really got that down, you might have a 3-bedroom home and making that work for you. It's the positioning of those rooms in the home that make a big difference. So, for example, in your home, day to day, you're going to have the garage you're going to use. You're going to have your kitchen, meals, family, outdoor al fresco area you're probably going to use every day. Your master bedroom, ensuite walk-in robe, and maybe your powder room and a laundry you're going to use every day, because that's, everybody needs those rooms. However, if it's just two of you or you're by yourself and you've got minor bedrooms there, which you obviously need for resale, and you've got 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms there, design it so that's off a hallway. Right, so you have no reason to go down that hallway, unless it's a hobby room or something, no reason to go down that hallway unless you're going to use that room. And the reason I'm saying that is that way you can just put a door in that hallway and you just forget about it. This doesn't exist to you until the day that you got someone going to stay over or you're going to have a guest or whatever it might be. Then you go down the hallway, and before they come, you just give it a dust, you give it a vacuum, and guess what? It's brand new. But this just simplifies your life. It just means that you've got an easy lifestyle. You don't have to spend all this time trying to clean rooms that are no good to you or you don't need them. It really just simplifies that life, and you spend the quality time on what you want to spend it on. Okay, so really just try and design out your home of what works for your lifestyle. Then when you're actually doing that and you've actually got those spare rooms there, you really don't want to have a 3-bedroom home when you think 4-bedroom suits the area better, and you don't want to have a 5-bedroom home when you really need a 4-bedroom home. So you really want to make sure that those dual rooms work, but they're also tucked away, and you might as well have a 1-bedroom home as far as your day-to-day living style goes. So that's low maintenance. Low maintenance is also your gardening, okay? So if your lifestyle is that you are a traveller, or you like going away, or if you're downsizing a bit older and you want to do the grey nomad thing, you travel around Australia, which would be awesome, and you want to do that, which means you're going to leave your house for long periods of time, or you want it low maintenance, think about that with your garden. Okay, you might have this beautiful lush garden, you love doing all this gardening now, and then you want to go for a smaller home where you want to make sure that garden's still great, still gives a great hobby for you, but it's not such a full-time job that you can't enjoy the other things in life. So have a garden, really plan out your garden if you're into gardening. I'm happy with concrete everywhere and maybe one plant that you can't kill. And if you watch the podcast, by the way, you notice the one in the corner, we didn't do a very good job over the Christmas period, so it's gone, but we'll work on that. But that's the side thing. But the point is, though, think about the garden you want, make sure it's manageable, and make sure that you can travel or go out and you can leave it for a while and it's not going to get out of control, right? It doesn't dominate your life. So, but when you're talking garden space, you do also want to think about your lifestyle in the sense that you might want to travel around Australia, you might want to travel, which means you may want a caravan or you might want a boat or whatever you might need there. Make sure you've allowed space for that next to your garage. I wouldn't try and put those things in your garage, allow enough space. So to park a trailer, really you need 2 meters, but if you're reversing it, you might want 3 meters, a good size. If you're going to go for a caravan, you want to think about maybe 4 meters. You want to sort of have a tap down the side there, use a hose to wash it down or whatever you might need there, and watch out for the eaves. Caravans are pretty tall often. You have eaves out there. You want to make sure you can get the caravan down there. Nice parking planning out. So you might have double garage space for another parking bay next to that. This is the lifestyle things you want to do. When you've got no kids at home, you might have more freedom. That's what it's all about. So think about parking, lifestyle, garden, low maintenance, have the lifestyle you want. And if what I'm saying doesn't work for you, you love gardening and think that's the way to go, well, then have more garden. I'm just trying to get you to think about this new lifestyle that you've got where you can control and have that flexibility without being a slave to your own home that works around you. Now, I've got a bonus tip for you here. You don't have a lot of people at home. You're living your best life. You might have a guest stay over with you. A great option there if you're going to have guests staying with you for long periods of time is have a semi-ensuite where you've got a bathroom that goes directly off a bedroom, but it also goes off the main hallway so guests can use it. And in doing that, when you've got that space there, that's great for people to stay with you for long periods of time. However, if you really want to go that next step beyond that, is a really popular thing is dual key. And that means that you've got 2 front doors to the home. One might be to a granny flat attached to the home, or a separate granny flat if you wanted to, and you also got your main door. The reason why this is great is, if you've got guests staying with you, they have their own space. They have their own bathroom, lounge room, kitchen, kitchenette, little small laundry, but also you can rent that thing out. I mean, we've got some clients that are getting $650 to $700 a week for their extra area there, which is going to put a big dent in the mortgage. That separate area there is so versatile. You have it so it's set up so the people who are living there can come and go as they please. They don't even have to see you day in, day out. They have their own access, they have their own parking spot. You have your own parking spot. We've designed these that fit 15 by 30 metre blocks. You can fit it on a lot of blocks quite well. And that dual key gives you if friends are going to stay over with you for longer periods of time, or family, they have their own separate area, but also you can rent that out and it's going to give you good for resale. And it's huge for resale because people are screaming for it. People can't get enough housing. Really good thing to think about. So you can still have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home and still work for you, but a lot of those bedrooms you don't have to worry about. And we can always change that or renovate those rooms to fix them up if you decide you want to sell to someone for more for resale. But things to look at. So hopefully these sort of ideas give you an idea when you're designing a home for yourself. Don't skimp on the rooms that mean a lot to you, because you still got to live your life and it's great. And downsizing doesn't mean you have to compromise on your lifestyle. Thank you for listening. If you know someone who's thinking about downsizing, or the couple thinking about building or even renovating their home, please share this with them, because I reckon it's going to be helpful for them. Gives them things they can talk about. If you want to design your home, you want to have a chat to us, more than happy to chat to us. But the whole point of the Home Building Podcast is to give you the information and the power for you to take that out and build the best home that money can buy. Thanks very much. See you next time.